I think she's disappeared. But anyway, somebody will pass on that. And also, we mustn't forget to thank the caterers who've done a brilliant job. In fact, anyway, to the theme of the night, a special occasion. Something strange about marriage, and that's the reaction of everyone when I mention that my daughter is getting married. Almost without exception, the first words out of everyone's mouth is, "Congratulations." Why? And it's not as though I set myself an objective and I'm very pleased and thrilled that I've managed to get rid of her. Those of you who've known the family for a long time know that precisely the opposite has always been the case. From the time they're old enough to understand, I've told my daughters, don't get married, or certainly don't get married before you're the age of 30. I've tried to encourage them to be strong, independent, certainly not dependent on anybody else. And given that 99% of men are not worth the trouble, and their father is certainly a classic example of that, and they should have learned from that, it's no surprise that the idea of congratulations for getting rid of your daughter is not something that I thought was appropriate. But anyway, having encouraged Mary and Margaret, Mary's the topic of the day, to be so independent, it didn't really prepare me for what happened when she decided to go off to the wilderness of New Hampshire, this terrible place, primarily because they had the ski slope on campus, I think was the main attraction. But what I wasn't aware of was that they had some other rather strange activities, whitewater kayaking, rock climbing. What's that? We didn't do much of that in central London. But to my amazement, Mary took up these activities. And fortunately, Mary has, if not 9 lives, multiple lives. Less fortunately, she began using them up at a rather rapid rate. There was a high-speed collision with a moose, with a car that was concertinaed in a little box that Mary managed to survive unscathed. Astonishing. I remember going over a waterfall in the kayak and getting wedged between 2 boulders upside down. To this day, I don't know how she survived that, but she did without much trouble. And the one I'll never forget, of course, is on a dying day. I walk into my office, I happened to be in Stockholm at the time, a message, ring Mary, and at the other end of the phone is a hospital in Thailand. Mary gets on the phone, I said, well, that's good news, she's speaking. I had a little accident, I broke my back. But she said it in the same tone of voice that a girl from Chelsea would say, I broke my fingernail, and I'm not really quite sure what I'm going to do about it. And she was very lucky because she had loads of help, and in particular, her mother, who was, as usual, prepared to drop everything and rush out and look after her little baby. And of course, Beth Ann, thank you very much, who did a terrific job of keeping her company, keeping her spirits up. But then to my amazement, having recovered from all that, she was back doing it again. And I thought, why? And I guess I finally found out, and in particular found out over this weekend. Because thanks to her going back to these wonderful adventures, she's met a fantastic group of friends who are very impressive, I must admit, and most importantly of all, met John.
Yeah!
I remain confident that Mary's perfectly capable of looking after herself. I am certainly infinitely confident that if she ever did need any help, I can't think of anyone I'd rather have looking after her than John.
Yeah.
I think with that in mind, it's time to pop some champagne corks, fill some glasses, and
you can do it.
Well done. My brother managed to do something right today. Mary, please shake it a lot. Make sure you shake it a lot before you... Mary, wait. John, where's the discipline?
I was expecting to be persuasion.
You disappointed me.
What are you gonna do?
Does everyone have a glass? Ready? All right, ready or not, here we go. Barry and John, may they always be as happy as they are today.
Yes.
And now we're going to have some real fun because...
Well, actually, I have a couple more toasts here, so we're going to have Eric or Margaret? Who wants to volunteer next? And Frank, by the way, that was amazing. Well done.